been defined in a multitude of ways, and I think that's what you see reflected in my work. In that, for instance, some scholars have looked at resilience in relation to trait related aspects. So like, what are traits that individuals have that might be related to resilience factor? They've looked at it in regards to coping. So are there certain coping strategies that are related to people having the ability to kind of bounce back or push forward in the face of or following adversity? But it's also been looked at in terms of a process. So, right, what does it look like for someone to exhibit resilience as they're going along? And then oftentimes I talk about this with my team and both clinically and research wise, that it's not a straight shoot when we think about resilience, right? People have struggles and their dips in their trajectory, but it's about, is that trajectory upwards, right? And what are the tools that they're utilizing to help them pick back up? So it's also a process. How we think about resilience is not just residing in the individual, because that tends to be a very Western, white informed idea of empowerment. And when we think especially about minoritized communities, it's important to think about context. So we also capture resilience by looking not just within the individual, but interpersonally, right? What does social support look like? What do peer support look like, right? What are the contexts that they're in, and what are the resilience resources, be it departments that they're in, families that they're in, but also neighborhood level, right? So what are constructs within neighborhoods that might help people to be more resilient? So I am a co-investigator on a project with some colleagues at Brown, where we're actually developing a multi-level resilience measure that, I know one of the papers should be in print soon, but it's capturing resilience, and it was done via mixed methods, but it's capturing resilience at the individual level, the interpersonal level, and the neighborhood level, and specifically measuring that among African Americans living with HIV in the Deep South. But I do a lot of that work myself in terms of thinking about it across different domains. Yeah, and so I think that it's complex and there's not one way to do it, but I do think that scholars need to move more in the direction of thinking beyond the individual in terms of leaving the onus on them to be resilient after, in the context of struggles that often are of no fault of their own, but were dealt to them either because of structural inadequacies and inequities. So.